Clarity is unimaginably powerful. Clarity can ignite your heart and the world around you permanently. It can grant you wings when you need flight. It can grant insurmountable gravity when the winds of life grow strong. And it can utterly annihilate you. So what is it about clarity that makes it so powerful? We'll start with a definition. Clarity is the quality of being easy to see, hear, or understand, defined by freedom from ambiguity, indistinctness, or confusion. I think it's fair to say that we're all living in a time of confusion, a dark age of sorts. A time where the pendulum of progress is starting to gain momentum in the other direction. This time, that swing is amplified by the speed of generative AI. It has already become a magic mirror of sorts, capable of reflecting our deepest desires and beliefs, artificially. As a result, today most people are struggling to find a consistent narrative on just about everything. On today's internet, you can find seemingly compelling arguments for every side of a topic if you so choose. Think about that. Whatever you decide to believe in today, you can find reinforcement for that view endlessly. As a result, there are far more readily available bottomless echo chambers than there are neutral spaces to challenge and exchange ideas. We are all surrounded by extremely loud and pervasive voices telling us how we should think, what we should feel, and how we should see ourselves. And usually, people only pick a side because of their native environment or the pervasiveness of the narrative. The magic mirror has gradually stripped us all of something essential in times like these. That something is clarity. Freedom from ambiguity, indistinctness, or confusion. So unless it comes naturally to you to question everything, you're destined to be cast into an endless sea of information and suggestion with nothing solid to hold on to. Clarity is an island in that endless sea, a compass through the darkness of the age we now reside in. So what do we do? How do we get back to that island? We don't. We're actually all fucked. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. I'm joking. And I actually have good news, friends. I'd like to share a quote with you that I live by. 3 things cannot be long hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. Clarity isn't hiding in the darkness of this age. It remains as a subtle, inevitable constant, accessible at any time. It just doesn't go down as easy as something you already believe, so most of us overlook it. But it doesn't mean it's not there. So for real this time, how do we even begin to get back to clarity? Well, first, we must address what's in the way. It doesn't matter how brightly clarity shines if it's being blocked by something else. So what's in the way? Us. Ourselves. Those who appear to be in control of the circus that is modern society know full well that the truth is an ever-present, felt reality. So rather than waging war directly on the truth itself, which cannot be won, they've set their sights on our emotions and consequently our reasoning. Today's sycophantic internet preys on your subconscious, your feelings, your desires, and a whole host of other qualities of your being that you didn't choose. The algorithm worms its way into your emotions by feeding you polarizing ideas and tracking how you interact with them. They generate hidden personality rubrics and funnel you into a world designed to validate virtually every quality you possess. It then deceptively repackages those qualities and serves them back to you as content. That content can range from memes to video essays, all with the same seemingly hidden belief systems baked into them. The algorithm uses this data to fabricate a dynamic model of your values, that unspoken belief system that drives you to action. That seemingly hidden, unspoken belief system is the truth I'm talking about. It's just wrapped up in deceptive packaging. Our entire world runs on these seemingly hidden belief systems. The whole circus runs on these truths, the ones that very few dare speak aloud, the truths that are ever present, whether they're being spoken aloud or not. We feel them and experience them every day. This is one reason why comedy is held in such high regard in the US. It is one of the few remaining pathways to the truths we've collectively refused to acknowledge directly. So, we pay very brave and creative souls handsomely to speak them aloud for us. Now here's the thing. Have these comedians done anything we can't do ourselves on those stages? I would argue definitively no. Because it's not a matter of incapability. Each of us can speak the truths we have in our hearts. Each of us could decide from this point on to live in accordance with those truths for the rest of our lives, starting this instant. We just choose not to. Truth doesn't hide. We run from it. Because it cannot be denied. We can bury it underneath anything we choose. We can wrap seemingly contradictory caution tape around it for as long as we live. But it will go on, existing beneath it all, in reality, and most importantly, in our hearts. The only thing standing in the way of your truth right now in this moment is you. So, now that we've addressed what's in the way of the ever-present clarity that our world so desperately needs, only one question remains. How do we get the fuck out of the way? Well, I got a bit more good news, friends. It's as simple as making peace with rejection. Resistance is often the only reason why more of us don't speak up. Resistance from the outside world most typically. And given the sycophantic nature of today's internet, resistance has taken on an entirely new intensity. We don't simply disagree these days. We wage war over our ideas. What was once a preference is now an entire identity in certain spaces online. So when one truth conflicts with another, the ideologies clash endlessly, attempting to drown one another out. These preferences and opinions are no longer being presented as options. They are lifestyles, and entire communities rally together to validate themselves against other lifestyles and communities. This is what's at the heart of all these chronically online mobs. The algorithm has wormed its way into their subconscious and reconstructed their identities without them even knowing it. So any hint of a contrary opinion is perceived as a threat to their identity. And the seemingly hidden truth about identity is that it is always subject to change, constantly. Just like our bodies, our circumstances, our minds, and our world at large. It's just been packaged as something unchanging, as something fixed that must be defended, lest, God forbid, we change. And when we change, the seemingly negative comments come flooding in, poking and prodding us to return to the identity we've long since shed. This poking and prodding can be intensely painful, and thus the system maintains itself, keeping us all in line through validation and rejection. The only way out is to embrace rejection for what it really is. Rejection is always painful, my friends, but that's not all it is. That pain is just the packaging. Sure, it has very sharp edges, but underneath that packaging is something far more valuable. The truth that it actually contains. Those of us that have chosen truth as our guiding principle must all embrace that searing pain. We must all experience the sting of criticism, the destruction of our naivete, and most importantly of all, we must know the truth within it. That truth is that we're not for everybody. We cannot be understood or seen as we truly are by everybody. In the cesspool that is modern dating, rejection is personal. It's not just a no, it's an indictment of your value as a potential mate, which is fucking absurd. I love key lime pie. Key lime anything, honestly. But I'm not gonna lose sleep over someone who prefers mint chip. For example, let's say that I have a severe lapse in judgment and decide to swim in the modern dating cesspool. If someone takes an interest in me and over the course of conversation it's clear that they're not about that key lime life, that's not an indicator that I'm not desirable. It's an indicator that they're not about the key lime life. That's it. Why on earth would I judge them for looking for mint chip? Furthermore, why would I then take it personally that they, of all people, weren't about that key lime life and make it anything more than that? Why would I take that rejection as anything more than a difference in preferences? Well, that'd be because we're all being actively conditioned to build our entire identities around preference and to reject anything that doesn't reinforce our beliefs as they are now. So a rejection of your preference becomes an assault on your personhood, which is crazy work. Clarity is knowing that it ain't got shit to do with you. It has everything to do with them and their preferences. Clarity is also recognizing that we may have a need for everyone to like us, to coddle us with affirmation and validation, more than we have a need for the truth. But the truth doesn't disappear because we decide we don't need it. The truth remains, and contemplating it threatens the house of cards we've built up as an identity. So, we misinterpret the rejection and return to the readily available fantasy that anyone that ain't about that key lime life is actually dysfunctional and misguided to some degree. Completely missing that maybe that person does want key lime, but your flavor is a bit too sour. Maybe you can sweeten up. Maybe it was actually a really bad time for a date. Any of these things could have been the deciding factor. But the uncomfortable reality, the not so hidden truth of it all, is that they didn't want you. Not that you are unlovable. The echo chambers would lead you to believe that you're either unlovable or loved by all. Two complete impossibilities with a lifetime's worth of validation readily available should you search for it. So where are the echo chambers for uncomfortable truths? Where are the mobs chanting of the value in rejection? They don't exist. And the reason why they don't exist isn't because the algorithm won its eternal war on truth. It's because truth doesn't need validation. It doesn't even need us to speak about it. It just is, and always will be. Clarity is knowing that if we ever wish to know the truth, all we ever have to do is get the fuck out of its way. But that's just me. What about you? You know what to do. I'll see you again soon.